gentlemen, boys and girls, and we are back with another episode of the Daily Eye Show. I'm Salim Asgarally, and
Hi, I'm Veenaa Bakshi.
And today we are going to talk about something that's pretty interesting, which I think affects all of us. Some in small measure, some in large measure, and that is insecurities. You know, every time we get insecure, there is a whole spate of things that happen which are really not so very positive, and we really need to get to the point of what is all this insecurity about.
There are three words that I found basically.
All right.
Unsure, doubtful, and inadequately guarded.
Inadequately guarded.
Yeah. Lots of times I think, we hide behind those insecurities claiming to be secure.
So it's identity that people would like to associate with and make themselves comfortable that this is me, and anything out of that box tends to kind of spew insecurity. You're out of your comfort zone, basically. Yep. And one of the reasons that I think we live with so many insecurities at various levels is economics.
Yep.
We are not all equal, though it has been told to us ever since the democratic world happened. Yeah, from the 1800s we moved towards revolutionizing our political system. We moved away from monarchies, we came to what was more democratic, and we said all men and women are equal.
No.
They will not be discriminated by race, culture, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we somewhere feel we are all equal, but are we really equal?
The famous line from George Orwell's book Animal Farm, where the pig says, where they declare that all the animals are equal in the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So everyone has equal rights.
Yeah.
And then the pig and the rooster decide to lead the farm. So when the pig is questioned as to why are you doing this? Well, we all were equal, so how did you become the leader? There's a beautiful line which he says. He says, yes, we're all equal, but some are more equal than others.
Precisely.
Economic insecurity is the worst thing, is to make somebody economically dependent, on a person.
But when wealth is not equally distributed in most nations, even of course in India, we know that the top 2% are controlling more than 90% of the wealth of the nation. Yeah. So there's bound to be insecurity in all those who don't have that wealth, because they feel disentitled, they feel disempowered. So they are bound to become insecure about various things at various levels, and then that kind of filters down to what you might even think and call emotional insecurity. Because when you're not economically secure, it's very hard to become emotionally secure.
There have been horrible cases, Salim, of women who've been so badly abused in terms of, in terms of their marriages, where the husband has had complete control even over her sanitary napkins.
That's so gross.
Yeah, so it's like she doesn't have money to buy a sanitary napkin and she's bleeding. And the whole thing is about, okay, so you will do this, you will do this, and you will do this, and you'll behave in this manner. And here's the money, वरना तुमको पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे.
So when you're emotionally insecure, what then transpires is your mental health.
Yes.
So you could actually lead yourself into depression.
Absolutely. In fact, emotional insecurities, they have been known to lead to self-harm or harming others.
Yeah, an emotionally insecure or unstable person could be potentially dangerous.
I think it's a societal problem.
When people don't know where their bread is coming from tomorrow, forget the butter, they're living on the edge.
Absolutely.
And that form of economic insecurity, which governments levy on people, which nations levy on each other, I think is something that really needs to be looked at very hard, because it's at the root of a lot of evils.
We have no idea what's going to happen next. We have no idea if there's going to be money tomorrow to run a house or not. We have no idea as to, are we going to be living in a secure society? Is there going to be war? Is there going to be hunger?
And what if tomorrow doesn't come?
And what if tomorrow doesn't come? So the world has become an extremely insecure place, which of course suits a lot of people. And this is a very nice way of controlling a mass universe.
It's controlling through polarization.
It is.
Yeah. So you make people insecure. Let's say you make people insecure religiously.
Mm-hmm.
You play on their religious sentiments and tell them that what they believe in, their religious beliefs are in threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're going to be overtaken by someone from another religion and you're going to be suppressed by them. That is very frightening for a whole lot of people who are staunch believers in what they believe, and everyone is free to believe what they want to, right? As far as their religious beliefs go. But to play on them, to polarize people by that, is maneuvering, manipulating to create not only vote banks, but on a larger level to get a better deal economically for themselves.
Salim, religion is being used to control people, not from today. Religion has been used to control people ever since religion was born.
I completely agree with you. Even the pharaohs did the same thing.
Yes.
They used the sun and the eclipse to tell the people that the sun god is angry.
Yep.
So if you don't do as we tell you to do now, then the sun god is even going to be more angry, and then you won't have the sun, so you won't have the crops, and then you're going to die of hunger. So that's the way the ball rolls.
And that's what's being done all along. Every religion, actually, if you look at, every religion, the so-called learned men of that religion, all the religions around the world, have used religion as a power to control people. So today what's going on is actually nothing new. It's just that because of social media, we get to know more about it. We get to know about it today. And that insecurity, there's an easier way to prey on our insecurities now, which is via social media.
Of course.
So while something used to take maybe a year to reach us, a month to reach us, a week to reach us.
Now it's by the nanosecond.
Now it's by the nanosecond.
And taking it further on the social level as well, we had the caste systems, which defined class and caste.
Yes.
And put people in a state where they were unequal for no reason, really, other than that I said you are not as good as me. So when I say you're not as good as me, it is going to make you very uncomfortable. And it's not just that. We all know how the caste system flourished in this country. And sadly enough, it's still there.
Today, when we live in a society where there is technology to take care and take the place of that manual scavenging, when we do have the technology to clean those gutters, we do have technology to clean those nalas, why are we still sending men into those dirty, filthy places?
So that you can tell them that you are just fit for this. Yeah, you are of this particular caste, and so, as we know earlier, caste system was defined by occupation. So
yes.
People of a certain caste only occupied themselves with a kind of work. So this is still being carried forth and pushed to its limits with scavenging, which the world has sat up and taken note of, that it's really not the right way to go.
So there was a sign which said butcher, basically a butcher shop.
All right.
That sold mutton and chicken and stuff like that. And it very clearly said Hindu butcher.
All right.
Okay. And it was written in Marathi, so it's a city in Maharashtra, written in Marathi, which translated to clean meats. Okay? But touched by pure hands.
That's so ridiculous.
I was like, what? And by then we had passed by, so I couldn't get off. And then when I mentioned to the people in the casting, can we go back home and take a photograph this if you want to get bashed up? You're creating an insecurity in somebody's mind that, oh, that butcher, dirty hands. Don't eat. This, clean. The fact that you also have gone and murdered an animal.
That doesn't matter. It's just become another way to sell something. I would think it's just marketing strategy, but done in the most obnoxious way, which is not ethical, really.
Let's for a second suspend this conversation here on insecurities and shift to power. We're talking about corporates, or we're talking about anybody. It's a power game at the end of the day, which is what helps people control.
And the power game is always played by feeding on someone's insecurity.
Yeah.
So you make that person feel insecure that, I'm closer to the boss. He's going to listen to what I say. The corporates have always played their games. corporate power, power politics is not just limited to corporates, actually. It's the nations, the superpowers that play the biggest games of insecurity. They make nations insecure. So today we have someone telling us, oh my gosh, Pakistan is armed with nuclear weapons. Are you? China is sitting out over there. Something might happen to you. Or XYZ. So you need more arms. You need more ammunition. Come buy from us. So you see how it works. The minute you are insecure, you would look for a solution for your insecurity, and then there are always those people out there to sell something to you. It could be insecurity as, your breasts are really too small. You need to get some surgery done.
Absolutely.
So there you go, and you have augmented breasts, and so on and so forth. So this thing where we use the power game, where we use insecurities to sell, to market, I think ethically is not correct. And we as a people should really not fall for that trap.
Unfortunately, people fall for that crap.
Big time.
Yeah. Recently, I've been seeing on YouTube and on the net largely, there have been these ads for the great Flipkart sale. Okay? So you have a multitude of Bollywood actors who are coming on the YouTube or on these ads or whatever, saying, don't miss the sale. It's the biggest thing that happened. Don't miss the sale. You're creating an insecurity within people who are watching that, oh my God, I missed the biggest sale. Where did you get this phone? Flipkart sale. Oh God, I missed the sale. So next time I'm waiting. Creating that insecurity of making somebody feel lesser by using materialism, by using consumerism.
Isn't that what advertising has always done to us?
That's the job of advertising.
But is that really correct?
No, I'm right
when
now.
When you put up a hoarding and you show forget the hoarding, whether you have ads or multitudes of things in which advertisers, sell their products. It's always is to create an insecurity and to tell you that you are not good enough or you are not modern enough until you buy our products.
There's a term for that they use in advertising.
Which is?
Aspiration.
Yes.
So it's not insecurity. It's the other way around.
I think it's camouflage.
You have to aspire for this car, for this toothbrush, for this toothpaste, for this phone, for this watch. And if you don't, then you're lesser.
You're a lesser mortal.
I once had an actor who turned around, kept looking out of the window, the office. I was an assistant then. Finally, I asked him, I said, what happened? Why are you looking down? He said, no, I'm just wondering whether the car will be safe downstairs. This is an insecurity of telling someone that I now own a car.
So there is the creation of what they call status symbols.
Yes.
Yeah, so the car becomes a status symbol. Today your phone is a status symbol. So if you don't have that, then you don't belong to a certain status.
No.
All right?
Absolutely.
And even more, if you don't aspire to a life of luxury, then you're probably no good.
Yeah.
So what about the young minds? Let's talk about the young minds today which are on social media. We're talking of 10, 12, 14, 15-year-old kids. So this is the kind of environment that we are bringing them into. At the same time, this is the kind of education that we are giving them, that all that really matters is that you need to be better than the others. It's always about competition, it's about competitiveness, it's not about how much do you really know. How educated are you in terms of your knowledge? Not how much better are you than the other person. Because we are always playing this I am better game. And this I am better game, sorry to say, as we said, has not only led to mental illness, depression, but it has also spawned a whole new category of products which if you subscribe to, you have all these ads about do you have a good sex life? Is it big enough? We can help you. So it's creating this whole fear, now even sexually, that you are not good enough if you don't use this or you don't do that. Or do you have a sexual problem? The other thing is, in the years that when I was growing up, we were not so conscious of our bodies. Today, everyone is so conscious of their body. I mean, if you don't have a good body or you're not beautiful enough, then actually you're going to make less money. You're not going to get the best job. You're not going to get great friends. So, head to the gym, go for body sculpting, get those Botox fillers done. And that's where you can see an entire industry has spawned itself.
It's amazing you say this. Yesterday, I saw this ad, which I was watching a documentary on YouTube, and this ad kept coming in for something called Cult Fit. Okay? And which is some kind of a gym thing. And Salim, this ad just kept coming in every 3 minutes.
You were hammering it.
Hammering. This was like digging, JCB into the ground, taking dirt out, putting it on top, thumping it and pulling it out again. It's like...
we are at a certain level in life in terms of, the years we've lived, to have a certain level of maturity to go beyond these things. But what about the 20-somethings? What about those teenagers over there who have to face the fact that you're looking fat? You're too skinny. Do something about yourself. So, I have known cases of where these young kids have actually gone into hibernation. They don't want to go out. They don't want to do things because they're just so ashamed of themselves that, oh my God, I'm looking fat. Or I'm just not good enough.
That's so sad.
And this is an insecurity that has been perpetuated and created. You don't have to be a particular size, type, etc., to be your best. And on a personal level, I have never subscribed, Veena, to this entire philosophy of skinny is the best way to go, size 0 is what you need to be.
Yes.
I like real people. You have walked for one of my shows.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had real people on that show, and I have always followed that. Even in the most recent one that I had my friends out there modeling.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that. So that's the way I like it to be, because ultimately fashion is not about creating aspiration only. It's about augmenting someone's persona. I don't want to create a new you. I want to probably create a you which you are more happier with. Something different, something that might move you in a different direction. It also happens very often, people change occupations. Yeah. And there are demands on how you dress. Not necessarily because you have to fit in, but sometimes you have to play the part.
Be happy. Learn to be happy with what you have. Learn to be happy with who you are.
I think what is extremely important is to discover yourself.
Yeah.
Discover yourself through your own experiences. You can't be someone else. So there's no point in creating another Veena, another Salim Asgarally, because there's only one you. So learn to live that to the best in terms of your ability, in terms of how you negotiate your life without succumbing to these, I would again say, very unethical marketers.
And I was reading about this website which is called pleasedropme.com. This website has perfected. So, normally you have to switch on your location services. These guys don't do that. They follow a person or they follow you, like you apply to the website, and you can follow somebody through that website on any of their social media platforms.
Seriously?
Yes. And you can trace a person up to 3 minutes.
That's scary.
That's very scary. So you're creating stalkers, you're creating, anybody, you could be creating a serial killer.
So in effect, you do not have a private life. There are no dark, spaces, spots, corners that you can hide in any longer.
No, and that creates, and this has been taken advantage of by this thing called Facebook insecurity. It started off as Facebook insecurity, now it is social media insecurity. I have posted a photograph of my dog on Facebook, and oh my God, I got only 20 likes. So you do something stupid.
Let me tell you, as a blogger, if you were a blogger, a fashion blogger, this is the latest that I have heard, by the way. So if you are a fashion blogger, and you want an invite to Fashion Week, then you need to have followers who are more than 1 lakh.
Wow.
Then you get an invite. So that is the kind of insecurity that journalism is facing these days.
Yeah.
So you can't go really and get an invite for Fashion Week, though I'm a legit journalist, if I don't have that following. So these are the standards that are being set, and people are succumbing to it.
And unfortunately, this insecurity is being preyed on.
Majorly.
By anybody and everybody. Politicians, marketing companies, salespeople, corporates, anybody.
You know, my like social media managers and social media companies that come and tell you, we are going to make you so famous. Give us some money. Earlier, we used to suffice with maybe one post in 2-3 days about your own brand.
Right.
Now, they say that's just not good enough. You need at least 5 posts a day if you are even going to make an impression.
Wow.
So, that is the kind of social media that we will be dealing with going forward. So, there's going to be a barrage of these kind of posts happening, and therefore more people becoming more insecure. Yeah, so then you have what they call these fake likes that you can buy. Yeah, so you
tell me more.
Yeah, so they have companies that will regularly keep messaging you, especially if you're running a business or you have a brand that you have been trying to promote on social media. So then you have these companies that will call you that we can help you. We can get you some 10,000 likes if you pay this much. So for the first 1,000, you pay this much, and then you pay. So they have a whole chart which they'll kind of forward to you.
It's like a holiday package.
It's like a holiday package. So suddenly on your Instagram, you can jump from maybe 1,000 followers to 20,000 in a day's time, because they can buy that for you. So they have people out there, teams and teams of people who they pay to generate likes and followings for you.
This is like the troll.
So when you see one of your competitors has a following of 100,000 and you are sitting out there with 2,000, you're going to be bloody insecure.
Obviously.
But you don't know that that's a fake following.
So that is what then you're induced to do. So I'm induced to then also do the same thing.
So the whole thing behind, the plot behind the whole creation of insecurity is the economics of it. Someone out there is benefiting, someone out there is making the money at your expense, at your insecurity, at the cost of your mental health.
I'm going to the Himalayas.
The height of insecurity, I think, is, where the pain really is, where it really hurts, is when you don't know where you belong. You don't know whether this is my land or it's not. Do I fit in here? Do I have a home here? Is this where I come from? Is this where I should be? Look at the status of refugees around the world today. All the Syrian and Iraqi refugees that fled to Europe. Of course, there were many people who were very encouraging about it and said, yes, we are all human beings. We all need to be treated equally. So they also have lives. They have families. We can't consider them just as, because they do not belong here, they are not citizens of this country, so why should we let them in? That whole humanitarian aspect on the fundamentals of which nations were built, democracies were put into place, have disappeared. Now we've become all cagey. Within the country itself, today we are questioning who are legitimate citizens and who are not. So people who have been living here for years on end suddenly have to prove their credentials. So we have, and probably are going to have now, as I guess maybe all the bills still haven't been passed, but it's on the way, what is called the National Citizens Registry, where everyone has to show papers of, I think, at least 50 years of proving that you own property, that you belong to this country. Now, can you imagine the level of insecurity, Veena, if you are told you're not an Indian citizen any longer? You can't prove it.
The whole question of being moved out of your home, being kicked out or forced to leave your house, your land. I mean, it's this way. Today, I'm a filmmaker, you're a fashion designer, Salim. God forbid, we'll end up in a country tomorrow where our identities are gone because there's no way. I mean, that you have to start right at the bottom again in a completely new land, maybe not knowing the language.
Oh, it drives people up the wall. It has led to suicides. It has led to people, this entire disenfranchisement that has happened world over, have led people to lead lives which are far from normal. They are lives which are rife with tears, sorrow, pain. I mean, have we forgotten the pain of partition already? Did we see what it did to people that we want to reenact the whole thing again?
And who the hell gives these people the right and permission to check on our citizenship and our belonging? Why aren't we checking on theirs?
Exactly.
One of the things that does happen is this whole breakdown of cultural identity. Like NRIs, for instance, they decide to go and live in another country for a better life.
Yes.
Okay? They take the passport of that country. Okay? They have beautiful jobs, houses, cars. So they want that life. The clean streets and whatever else, and all the dollars and stuff. But they want to put one toe and one little finger into the country they came from because it's a complete loss of identity.
The point is to create a mini something somewhere, like you have a little India in many places. You have the Chinatown also.
Yes.
So that is where people then, because they're insecure, feel secure in their own numbers. So they rather build their own little townships wherever they are and then do their own little cultural things. So when you are in a completely different culture, you create another world where you shift and slide into just to feel good that I belong. So that whole thing, I belong, is a very important element, I think, in human nature.
But then what starts happening is their insecurities grow to an extent where now the only way that you can deal with your insecurity is by making somebody else who doesn't live within that system, make that person insecure.
Make him an outsider.
So what happens is what we've been seeing over a few years now is this whole diaspora, to handle their own insecurities, start getting more Indian than the Indians living in India.
So where do we stop this? How do we really crack this issue?
I don't think you and I can crack this issue. It's too large an issue which has been going on for generations that we can't crack it. We can probably attempt within ourselves of talking to people, saying that, listen, there are all these insecurities around us and they're going to continue.
The problem...
But you have to look at another, you have to pick that insecurity up and look what's under it.
You have to demystify it.
Yeah, so what are you insecure about? Are you insecure about the way you look? Are you insecure about the way you speak? Are you insecure about your job, your phone? And identify that. And the first and foremost thing I would say is that your phone, your car, your locality, your clothes are not you.
They're extensions of you, maybe, but that not is essentially you. So you have to look beyond these insecurities and realize that they have been created by someone else to put you into a certain space where you then subscribe to everything that you say.
Absolutely.
Or is told to you, rather. You buy their products, you go and put those votes in a manner that they want you to put it in. Yeah, and you send the money in the direction where they think it should go.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, this is what I'd like to share with the crowd, is that it really doesn't matter what you look like, whether you're fat, thin, medium, size 0, size 12, size 108. It doesn't matter.
In the larger picture, it doesn't matter. But if you have to do it for whatever reasons which are personal, if it makes you feel happy to look thinner, yeah, fine, great, go out there and look thinner. But don't get compelled. Don't feel lesser. Don't feel like a lesser being just because somebody tells you that this is not good enough. Because you are good enough. The fact that you have come here to this planet, to this space.
You're brilliant.
You're a winner. And I think that is the note where we would like to leave you all with today, is that be yourself,
Absolutely.
Use your mind. Don't get manipulated. Don't feel insecure. It's just all part of the game. Rise above it. And hope you loved our episode this time. Do send us your feedback and comments. And we'd like to sign off today and hope to see you again very soon next week on The Daily Eye Show.
The Daily Eye Show.